Round 15 in the A-League men's competition is here. Perth Glory with the bye. We're going to take a look at all the fixtures coming up. We're starting with a doubleheader on Friday night. It's Western United against the Newcastle Jets. Jacob, Western are a team that have been building a pretty good run of form recently. Do you think they could hold that here against the Jets?
I think so. I think that they've got enough there in that side. And what we've seen from the Jets recently as well is their inability to actually hold on to games where they can get a result. And I think that perfectly plays into Western's hands, where they've done the opposite and they've fought hard for every point that they've got. So I think that it's a good matchup for Western, and where, a lot of the teams in that top 6, top 7 are sort of playing each other over the next few weeks and things like that. This is a chance for them to get some points over opposition below them. And not to say it's a free win or anything, right? But, it's perhaps a little bit easier and there's a lot less pressure and a lot less on the line in this game because it's not a 6-point swing. So, no, I back them to do it. I think that they've looked tremendous in recent weeks and, they seem to be on a run at the moment. So I think Newcastle will really struggle against them.
Pletty, you concur?
Yeah, I just think looking at what Newcastle dished out against MacArthur last week and what Western have dished out in the previous few weeks, this is one-way traffic. I see no universe in which Newcastle get all 3 points out of this game, and I think they'd be incredibly fortunate to get one. For me, it's Western.
Yeah, I think I'm with you. I think the train is well and truly heading out to the Western Melbourne on this one. The other game on the Friday night will the later slot, the Western Sydney Wanderers against what has looked a little bit forlorn back line of the Central Coast Mariners, really all season when you have the kind of attacking quality that the Wanderers possessing at the moment going up against the Mariners. You must be a little bit worried about what might happen out there on Friday night.
Yeah, definitely the battle of the two, below average defenses this game. We call it that. But I don't know. The Mariners have picked up a bunch of important points at CommBank, so I wouldn't completely write them off for this one. Do see an interesting encounter, especially before the transfer window does open, or like slightly. This game will be slightly after it does. But before really either team can, or especially the Wanderers who are looking to make some defensive improvements there, before they can sort that out, this will be an interesting encounter where I think both teams can really go at each other and the door will be open a lot. I think this will play out more like a basketball game, and I think it'll be up and back and up and back, and it will be an exciting affair.
Jacob?
Yes to exciting. But I don't know. Like, these two teams seem quite uninspired at the moment. The Wanderers, it felt like they couldn't quite take the confidence from beating Adelaide away, and move forwards from that with their season, and they've sort of stagnated. And the Mariners have not really quite found their footing. So it's going to be exciting because. Yeah, I mean, Will mentioned that it's, they're pretty inconsistent defenses, but I think they're pretty inconsistent such as sides as a whole in most aspects of the game. So it's really tough for me to split. I'm going to go the Wanderers, maybe perhaps a little bit strangely. I just feel like, it's going to be at home. And I think that they maybe have the individual playmakers to make the difference where the Mariners just they've not quite stepped up as much this season. So yeah, I'm swaying slightly towards the Wanderers.
Jacob, right, to that point, I will say the Wanderers are going to be coming back from Perth after a midweek game on Tuesday night.
That's true.
That is a very tough away trip. And you've also got in there the fact that I never thought I'd be saying tough away trip against Perth Glory this season, but one in a row. By the time you listen to this, you'll know whether it's 2 or not. And this fixture also gives me a chance to bring out one of my most favourite pieces of A-League men trivia. The Central Coast Mariners are one of 2 sides to have won a trophy at the Western Sydney Stadium before the Western Sydney Wanderers have done so.
That's great.
The other side was Sydney FC in the COVID year.
Yeah.
Hockey.
Right. Okay. No, I was trying to piece it together. Yes, well done. Okay. Nice trivia knowledge, I'm guessing that. I didn't think about that, but the idea of having Perth away on a Tuesday and then being fixtured to play on a Friday, that's...
Can I revise my answer?
Actually, I'd like to... I'd like to quickly drop mine back in here as well. Against all odds, I'm backing the Mariners to keep a clean sheet in this game. I think, the difficulty of that prediction, is obvious. Like, I don't think it's going to happen, but if it does happen, it will be all the more
Have the Mariners kept a clean sheet all season?
The first game, I believe, and against Perth.
Against Victory, yeah.
2-0 draws.
Wait, so your official prediction is a clean sheet for the Mariners?
Clean sheet for the Mariners, and I'm going to couple it with the next fixture I believe we're going to be talking about. So Auckland and Melbourne City. I will say an Auckland clean sheet in that one.
Interesting. Okay, because I think, Will, you may as well continue on. This is a very big litmus test for both these teams because, Auckland FC, the side that led the way for the first kind of few months of the season, and now City, who are the ones that find themselves on top of the ladder. This is one of those games that we're going to start seeing a lot more of that now that we're halfway through or so in the season. We're going to think about it in a way that this is going to shape where these teams end up come the end of the regular season.
Yeah, I think this is just the fixture for Auckland to find their feet again. I think, the rudimentary way that kind of City can play, I think that plays into Auckland's hands a fair bit as well here. And, where City can really grind out results against certain teams, I don't think they'll be able to do the same thing against Auckland. So I predict pretty low scoring in this one, and I do back Auckland to kind of find their feet again and keep City out of it.
Paletti, it's the young squad of Melbourne City, the academy graduates that are being thrown into the starting lineup against Auckland FC, the side that has been created, just in a matter of months, really. It's almost a year now, to be fair, isn't it, actually? But, lots of experience in that lineup. It's going to be a key narrative that plays out throughout the day.
For me, I think my biggest question here is, how do Auckland bounce back? We touched on this last week, back to Chiefy's comments, Jacob, about how, Auckland have had it easy. They haven't had to do a lot of travel. And then the first time they have to do the longest away trip in the league, they fall to a very poor Perth Glory side. And now they've got to make that trip all the way back. And they've got to face a Melbourne City side that's just on the rise and getting results by any means necessary, even though, as we established last week, they have no strikers. It's like they have an all-star squad sitting on the injured list. Like they were sitting in the stands on Saturday, I think it was, just because they've got no one available to play. Like they're all injured. I see City nabbing a 1-0 hit and run sort of victory here, just because I'm starting to think that the wheels might just beginning to not necessarily fall off, but someone's taken an Allen key and started to loosen a couple of bolts in the car that's carrying Auckland.
Not me. The odds of you having an Allen key, though, at that point in time is perfect.
Yeah. Look, I think... I'm going to throw my prediction in now because I think it's an interesting time to do it. I'm a little bit concerned after I realised the whole Western Sydney Wanderers travelling thing.
That's why you're so concerned about it.
Yeah, well, that, and I think Melbourne City are probably the other chance to break this prediction. But I am going to predict officially that no away team gets a win this week.
Ooh.
So there's those two. There's obviously Victory away in the original rivalry, which we'll get to as well. But then I think, the next team that we're going to talk about, Brisbane Roar, travelling away to Sydney. Jacob, I think that's one of the safer ones. I think they're now the new Perth. Obviously, I still inherently believe within myself they are a better team than Perth, like their squad and their players. But in terms
of
delusional,
fair enough.
I'm open to that opinion, but I just think that now they're at a point where it's like you just cannot ever predict them to win until they actually get a win. It's just not going to happen.
It's also it's a massive prediction breaker, right? Because if they do, we're just going to ridicule you for it. I mean, none of us have been backing Perth obviously until Will did kind of. He didn't put it in his prediction, but he did say in the preview that Perth could get a result last week. But yeah, you're right. It just seems very, very improbable at this point in time for Brisbane, especially against Sydney, who Brisbane's arguably their biggest issue has been defensively. Sydney's biggest thing is that they score a lot of goals. So it does seem like it's going to be a difficult task for Brisbane away from home. Yeah, I'm with you. I'm going to back Sydney for that one.
But they're without Douglas Costa, Will.
Yeah, but with Adrian Segicic. So, no, I just think Sydney have too much firepower, and coming up against a team like Brisbane, they will just overpower them in the end. That's how this one plays out for me. Don't really see any other alternative there.
Paletti, make me feel even better about this prediction.
I'm not angry. I'm just disappointed, Lockie. Look, I think that...
About what?
About you believing that Brisbane can still do something.
Not against Sydney. I'm just saying that they're better than Perth.
I'm not angry. I'm just disappointed. They're not better than Perth.
They definitely have a better squad.
Statistical evidence that they are not better than Perth. But anyway, I digress. Go back into Sydney FC here. I mean, I'm going to make you feel a little bit better about your prediction. I think we're sweeping the board here. It's Sydney FC for me.
Absolutely. All right, let's dive in to the original rivalry. That's the TV slot, the Saturday night, 7:35 over at Hindmarsh Stadium. Jacob, we believe it's already, as we're recording, close to being sold out. I'm sure it will be a complete sellout by the time we get to Saturday evening. It feels like there is a bit more of a buzz in the air around about this game. Obviously, Adelaide flying very high at the moment. Victory struggling in the month since Patrick Kisnorbo has departed them. You've got the narrative of Ben Falami crossing over in the recent off-season as well, which just adds to the game and the theatre behind it.
Yeah, it's just so hyped up, this one. It feels really quite special this year, especially because, yesterday Victory have dropped down to 7th now, but I don't think there's any denying they're a very good side still. And that, arguably their sights would be set on the very least a top 4 finish this season. It's been a while, I think, since both sides have been really towards the top end of the pointy end of the table, and it feels like it's really big. And you mentioned there the fact that it was a sellout, and this is why I was like, kind of before the recording with my prediction, I was like, do I want to say it? But I'm going to go with it, and I'm going to give some I know we don't like clarification, but it's context is what I'm going to say. So I'm going to say that the crowd at this game is going to crack 14,500, right? Which you think, if it's going to be a sellout, it's probably going to do that. Two things to that. Number one, there's not been an original rivalry fixture at Coopers that has broken 14,500 since the 22nd of November 2016.
Okay.
So it's been almost 10 years. And number two is, I think the last 2 or 3 Adelaide United home games have been sellouts, and they haven't even gotten close to 14,500. It was 14,100 at the last game. So even with a sellout, there's still a large group of people that don't turn out.
So you're backing the members to turn up? I'm
backing the members to turn up. I'm backing the casuals to turn up, even if they, with the tickets that they have bought, and not people to just go, I just won't go. But I'm also going to just add to the difficulty of it by saying that there will also be 2 other fixtures in this round that will crack 10,000 in this one. And I'm sort of eyeing Auckland and Sydney for those ones as well, just to add an extra level of
Auckland definitely, but I think Sydney dipped below 10k this week, right?
It could be tough. That's why I think it's an extra bit of, it could be make or break for me, right? But I reckon if I get it, I'm a shoe-in for the 3. So that's what my prediction is.
I think the reason Sydney dropped below 10 was because it was midweek on a rainy night. The Saturday fixture against the Mariners drew 11,111 fans, all the ones. But yeah, the midweek fixture definitely dropped below 10. Rain, midweek, Perth, all the factors just didn't quite level to it.
I'm so instantly suspicious of a crowd that is 11,111.
That's what they posted. That's what's been reported. That's the number. It's all the ones. To be fair, I think if you were going to fake a crowd number in Sydney around this time of year, you'd go for all the 2s. Just to pay a little bit of tribute to Richie Beno. glad Jacob picked up on that because I was about to have to stumble over explaining myself.
Wasn't there something about like when they measured how tall Mount Everest was or something? It came up to an extremely round number, so they just
they put
took
2
a little
feet
bit
on
off.
top of it. Yeah.
Oh,
so
2 feet on
the
top.
First, so
like
the
that.
first person to put 2 feet on Everest was the surveyor who measured the height of the mountain because they added extra on because they were like, oh, nobody's going to believe us if we say it's exactly this number.
This. So good, good. All right, well, we'll see how the crowd figures are reported, and maybe we'll get some manual counters up in there as well to ensure the validity of our calculations. Bringing it back, Will, to the original rivalry. Melbourne Victory have really, I don't even know, it's hard to put your finger on exactly what they've been struggling with. We talked in the podcast that maybe there's been maybe perhaps a few too many changes where they weren't needed in the lineup and the way that they were being asked to play. But you know that Adelaide United are going to come out and be able to score a lot of goals on their day. So for Victory, it kind of feels like they have to focus on just being able to keep their sheet clean, which, a couple of errors at the back last week have really cost them. They can't afford that in this game.
Yeah, definitely the errors haven't helped. But if Jack Duncan has a similar game as well, I think they should be able to maybe keep Adelaide. I think this will. I don't know. I see here Victory definitely bringing Adelaide back down a peg or two and getting a result. I just see something. I think the players of both sides will be up for it, but I do think this fixture suits Victory a bit and will be kind of one of the teams that they're going to be able to play well against. And we'll see if it all clicks. And I mean, as you mentioned, Dillers needs to kind of tweak the team a little bit more, maybe tweak it back to what a kind of similar way that it was, and find that balance again. Because as we said on the pod, they've just lost their shine a little bit. So if they turn up, I think they'll be too good for Adelaide on the night.
All right, Paletti, take us to another edition of MacArthur Monday, really getting our values worth out of this fixture during the holiday period or summer period.
Yes, the MacArthur Mondays fixture that previously, I believe, has the highest crowd for a MacArthur Mondays fixture is MacArthur Wellington. For some reason, Wellington travelling to Campbelltown always seems to draw a strong crowd, and I'm not sure what the correlation is. It's just people love coming out to see Wellington at Campbelltown.
They got a few fans in that area of New South Wales.
They
right?
do.
Isn't far, and they've got the second base there, basically.
Oh, sorry, Will, go on.
Yeah, no, just like during the COVID year, they've carved out a bit of a fan base in Wollongong, so it's not a big trip for them to make. So that would be a game that picks up, based on that as well.
Yeah, no, I've definitely made my fair share of trips from Campbelltown to Wollongong during the Wellington Phoenix stay on the south coast. I'm looking forward to seeing the Little Corner of Yellow on Monday night, and this is the game where my prediction will come in. So if we look at the history of MacArthur versus Wellington at Campbelltown, there's a couple of draws filtered throughout there. 2 wins for MacArthur, 2-0 in an Australia Cup fixture, and I've lost the other one. But generally speaking, Wellington don't lose when they come to Campbelltown. This fixture is littered with results for Wellington. I think that with the struggles under Giancarlo Italiano so far this season, I think that MacArthur can sort of break their hoodoo at Campbelltown against Wellington. My prediction is that Wellington will not win against MacArthur on Monday night. That is my official prediction. Lock it in, Eddie.
Wow, okay. I mean, home game for MacArthur, playing well against a Phoenix who aren't playing well.
I just gave you the history of the fixture that shows you that that MacArthur don't perform well against Wellington at Campbelltown. That it would be defying the odds for Wellington to lose this game.
Such a stretch. Such a stretch.
Can I ask something? Have we had a case where somebody's got their prediction exactly right, but still lost points to somebody who's got it partly right? Because it's the lowest bar.
It's happened once, I think, but I can't remember the specific
because
scenario.
I was a shoo-in for 1 point, and yet you went with a wrong prediction because it was better looking than what mine was. I'm still angry about that. I'm
Wasn't
angry
yours like
about all my lost
guaranteed or
points
something?
here.
One of those ones where they did half of it was like a guaranteed thing that was gonna happen
like
anyway. Yeah.
Prediction for this round: Sydney and Auckland both to win at home. Hopefully they get over the line.
Anyway, all right, there you go. There's our preview for round 15. It's not week 15, but it's round 15. Keep up with it if you can. Good luck. Let's count up some of the votes. Now, look, there was some controversy in the group chat. I didn't get my prediction in time for the video to go up. Usually there's a couple of courtesy reminders in our Slack channels.
I did message you on Slack.
You messaged me once.
I did.
Once was
I
appreciated.
did on the Monday, and then we ended up recording on the Tuesday as well. So,
well, then you had even more time to give me a reminder.
You had even more time to have read the message.
I was flustered, okay, and in a heat of the moment, I put through that Jason Guerrero would score an assist in his last game. He didn't, so I guess that means I'm out of the running.
Lockie. Excuses. Flustered this, I was hot, this and that. Just
no. Okay, let's. He did get a prediction in before the kickoff of the first game of the round,
which is traditionally been the rule.
Yeah. He was still wrong anyway, so it's no point.
Exactly. We don't have to talk about it.
Yeah.
In fact, we also don't have a prediction from Christian for the previous round. I'm assuming I've just thrown it in at the end there. He's very busy. Another cross code. Do we name the other codes? I don't know what our policy has been. You said hockey, right? He's at the tennis. He's at the tennis having a good time.
They both have round balls in them, so.
Yeah. That's right.
True. Fair. Sticking to it. What is a round? I'm going to argue that the indoor hockey ball that we use is the roundest of those balls. Like, there's no dimples. It's really smooth. Compared to a tennis ball and a football.
All I heard was indoor hockey, and they use a puck. So.
No, you would be incorrect, Paletti. Your Americanisms are not welcome here. Why don't look? I think we can agree. We're all looking at it right here. Jacob, Adelaide to win and both teams to score. Bang on prediction. No competition for the 3 votes. I think congratulations. Well done.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Yeah, when Wellington scored, I was like, ooh, I could be in with it here because, Adelaide could go and they did. So, yeah, no, pretty happy with that.
All right. Congratulations. 3 bang on. And then we've got Christian, had 4 teams not to lose, got 2 out of 4. Paletti, Brisbane, Perth and Newcastle all not to win. And then Perth pulled out, obviously, that win against Auckland, which kind of screwed you over there. And then Will, Melbourne Victory and Western United, both teams to score and over 3.5 goals. There was 7 total, right? So you got a little bit far away from the over sign there. And then
it is this time because it's the one game. You can't use the it's multiple games thing like you did last week.
If there's 7, like I'm just not going to predict over 6.5, am I? Like that's just not a reasonable prediction that anybody would.
Well,
what's the bar?
Yeah, look. Okay, we'll hold arguments, but then you also said Alu Cole goal or assist and got that wrong as well. So I'm just going to let you 3 fight it. Well, Paletti and Will really fight it out. Jacob, you can chime in for Christian if you want to. I don't know. And
do I want to do that?
Let's see. I mean, 4 teams not to lose. 2 of them did. You're cutting out 2 results, and you hit the 3rd one on 2 of them.
It's not to lose, so they could have drawn.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, 2 out of the 3 results. Yeah. So that one's not looking great for me.
No,
we're writing that one off. I'll go first. I'll stop Paletti for monologuing. I'll go first. Yeah. So okay, as I said, not really how that went. Like over 3.5. All I'm saying is it's going to be a high scoring game. And it was. So I think I got that right. That's a good shout. Alu Kual, sure, whatever. I thought he liked this fixture. Obviously doesn't anymore. But just to go on Paletti's, predicting the worst 3 teams that we've seen in this league for some time, not to win, right? And then probably one of the worst teams did win. I mean, that's just embarrassing. I would just retract that whole prediction if I would pull out of the race. But I think that's just more shocking and like a lower bar. That's all I'm going to say. That's a pretty low bar. All the 3 worst teams, and one of them doing it is just kind of I think it shows that you just don't have what it takes to get 1 point.
Okay.
Jacob, I think for me, Jacob, like
sorry,
that
if I can chime back in for a second, I missed that entire thing because my internet decided to crap itself at exactly the wrong moment. So, yeah.
Well, I think, Jacob, not only has Will persuaded me, I think, to give him my vote for the 2, but also I think he's pushed Paletti so far down that I reckon Christian is close to the 1. Like, I think it's in the running there.
I'm going to disagree with that. I'm going to disagree with that. I'm still giving Paletti the edge to Christian.
Okay, can I ask what Will's argument was?
I'm not going to go fully crazy. Will was just
watched
saying
the video.
Yeah, go back and watch
I need a chance to make my counter, damn it.
Well, I mean, his biggest complaint with yours was that you predicted the 3 worst teams in the league to not win, and then one of them did anyway, and it's like, it's not a good look.
Okay,
just
that's
embarrassing. I think my words were embarrassing, and all your full prediction.
Okay, that is the crux of the argument, and that is a fair argument to make. Look, for me, I think we can break Will's prediction down into 2 parts, right? His 2 parts are 1 game, yes, 1 game, no, right? I've got 3 games.
I think it's slightly above that.
Okay, I've got 3 games. I got 2 right. Last time I checked, 66 is greater than 50.
No, to both teams to score and over 3.5. And
they're correlating though, so it's not quite 2 out of 3.
What are the odds of having over 3.5 goals and it's all from one side?
I mean, I don't know. A number.
All I'm saying is that 66 is, or 66 and 2/3, whatever the split is there, is greater than 55-60.
But as we see in one of all our favorite Olympic sports, diving, is that you get your success rate and you multiply it by the degree of difficulty. And Will's degree of difficulty is order of magnitudes higher than what yours is, Paletti.
So now we're just changing it every week to screw Paletti over.
Not
is that
at all.
we're changing our arguments every single week to screw Paletti.
We have a group chat and we collude every week and in secret. And it's the highlight of my week, okay? I want 2 points.
They're saying every single week, it seems to be, how can we not give Paletti points every single week?
Well, if you want to do that, we can bring Christian back in.
Look, I think I should have 2 points. I think I've made a compelling argument, and I'm sticking with it. I think I should have 2 points, and if not, I'll be screaming conspiracy. Jacob,
are we there for Will on 2?
I think the fact that Paletti has said they're going to scream conspiracy when they already have done is tipping me in favour of Will. You're already doing what you said you're going to do, Paletti, so we might as well just stick with our guns here.
All right. Jacob 3, Will 2. Now we should decide who gets the 1 vote.
I'm still going Paletti for the 1. I'm still going Paletti for the 1.
Okay. Look, I recognise, Paletti, congratulations, you have the vote. I do think it is closer than you're giving credit for, though, because
66 is greater than 50.
Again, your degree of difficulty, though, you've literally picked the 3 worst teams in the competition to lose.
It's basically the same prediction in a way, right? Like, because they're both the same. It's not to lose versus not to win. Christian's picked an extra team, whereas Paletti's picked the 3 worst teams in the competition. So in my mind, the degree of difficulty is the same.
So, okay, let's look at it, right? I think Paletti should have had 3 sitters. Mm-hmm. Christian, Sydney is a sitter. I reckon Wellington was actually not. That was tricky, against Adelaide.
All they had to do was get a draw, right? And he's...
Yeah, but I know, but we're comparing it against Paletti's with 2 results in play, right? And then City, they're probably not going to lose. And victory, though, against Western, I think there's a degree of difficulty there. So I think you have the victory and the Phoenix ones. They're almost more difficult than Paletti combined, but they're the ones that Christian got wrong.
I'm still going to go Paletti.
We said that at the time. I think, Christian didn't pick the favourite. Like, they weren't all just favourites, right? We said it. We said exactly, watch that last video.
Maybe that's a suggestion to pick the favourites from now on, though, so that you actually get it right.
Okay.
I'm taking Paletti for 1 there.
I've got the point. I will be moderately happy with it, but I will say the only reason I didn't get mine is because Perth decided they actually wanted to play football, and who predicted that?
Me.
Not you.
You said
Well,
they'd get a
Will did, yeah.
result. You said they
You-
might
you
get
were
a
in the-
result.
All right. Well, it's my turn to scream conspiracy because the episode that I wasn't present in the voting is now both rounds that were involved have resulted in votes going exclusively to Paletti, Will, and Jacob, which just screams
We're just too
fraudulent
good. We're too
behaviour.
good, Lockie. It's, just be better at your predictions.
Be
Sounds like a
better.
skill issue, Lockie.
Yeah.
all right, last place. Yeah, all right.
Hey, who's gotten points in the last 2 weeks?
Yeah, you.
Like
So
Perth
you're on.
Glory played.
You're on 11 and you're still 3 behind fourth place, who is Will in 14th, tied with Christian on 14 as well. And then it goes Lockie 16, Jacob 17. So, Jacob, you've reclaimed the lead.
Taking the lead again.
Congratulations. We're 12 prediction rounds through. I'm not actually sure how many we're going to get in total. Probably 20.
Take away whatever however many mid
29, 30.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because then there's buys, but then plus finals. I think around 30. I think
Yeah,
around 30.
something
So
like that.
we're approaching the halfway mark, and the competition is still a very tight race. Thank you all for your company. As always, we'll be back next week for another predictions episode. We'll see you then.